Guru, you're the GOAT on MMA. I enjoy watching every video you put out, brother. Thank you very much for the compliments. I got a lot of trash and comments after the last card. Thank you for the 1 month. I said 2 bad sentences in a 7-hour live stream. So I guess that's enough to just trash my entire take on the whole card. Unfortunately, dude, I got to be perfect, though, so I'm not going to complain about it. I got to be perfect. Even if I, call the Volk fight, rooting for Volk, cheering for Volk, I can't have a wrong sentence at the end once, or it'll be taken as my entire take on the entire card. So I got to be perfect as usual. But this happens every card if I get my pick wrong, so I ain't going to act like it's some new thing. Do you expect Volk to turn it into a street fight in the last 30 seconds? I said a few sentences and I've admitted I'm wrong. Shut up, you absolute F-word. Jesus Christ. Still crying about that. Keep crying, dude. Hell, absolute lames. Said it 50 times. My bad, I was just saying it. I wanted to see a brawl at the end and I over-exaggerated, sort of trashing Volk a little bit to try and get a brawl out of him at the end of the 5th. I was overstimulated from the excitement for the rest of the card. That I was like, come on, give us some craziness. But it just never really happened. Oh, crashed my stream. But of course, you're still about it. You know what I mean? Crybabies, man. I'm sorry, why is Volk getting criticized for beating a highly dangerous opponent with the youth on his side? Those first 2 rounds, he bullied Diego. Yeah, he did very well in the first round. And in the second round, he did a little less well, but he still did really good. Gets punched in the eye and still able to hold off a killer. Dude, Volk's a monster, man. I just said a bad sentence at 6 a.m. with the birds chirping. And now everyone hates me. But that's how it is, man. I can't make a mistake in my comms, even after a great card of commentary. I just made a mistake in a sentence I said where I was just like, just throw it out. Oh, Volk did his thing, jabbing and inside low kicking, good for him. I just did that once. And then, yeah, now I'm hated by all. It is what it is. I don't care. Regarding Volk criticism, wasn't referring to you. There's heaps of these Nelk generation fans saying he ran the entire... I've seen that. You know what I've also seen that's crazy? And I was never saying this, at least. I said a couple sentences of oh, come on, Volk. Don't be... And I get it was supposed to be a big moment where I roar and cheer for him. So I fumbled that, I guess. That was my bad. But I see a lot of Lopez robbed, damage wins fights type shit. So jabs are counting as significant strikes now? Some of the comments are crazy. Neutralize a source of GOAT MMA's income? No, but Grey Shirt's channel might get nuked. I was hovering over it today, but I'm alright. He just hate mongers the channel. And he's acting like he doesn't get free pass to make money off of me. All he does is find the most hateable clips and put them together. So I was hovering over that button today, but I'm not going to do it. But if any clip channel would, it'd just be him getting wiped off. But, it's all good. I won't do it. I get it, Just hate fun. I feel like your Silver might be him, though, line when doubting your Bryce pick was one of the most ominous lines you've ever uttered. I feel like he's going to go all the way just because you said that. I know he might be him. I don't know. I just saw the Jordan fight, man, and it was just... how easily was he taken down over and over there? Just to shuck off Bryce like he's nothing in the takedowns. It's funny that, isn't it? How that works. And he's just swinging with everything he's got, and there's no payoff. There's no tiredness to him. And, squeezing with everything he's got on a guillotine, and he's still got the pop in his hands round 2. And it's just, I don't know. He just does, these fighting nerds, man, there seems to be no payoff. There's no weakness. There's no, that whole gym. There's no, everything where every other fighter, if they do things and overswing, they're going to get tired. Or if they squeeze so hard for a sub, their arms are going to gas out. Or if, things like this. There just doesn't seem to be that with that one gym. It's crazy. Do you think Paddy, I've already read it. Impression of Gene Silver getting hit by a bus. Bryce may have lost, but he still isn't a liar. Dude, there's nothing more painful than watching these people... This group of people getting a fucking complex and an ego about Bryce Mitchell losing when they don't have a single combat sport representative in their thousands of years on this earth. Well done, a Brazilian guy beat up Bryce, dude. Pissing me off. I tell you, I've seen them all over Twitter. Haha. LAZIs don't win. Never they win. All right. Fucking hell, man. Pissing me off, dude. It's all good. I know. Bryce versus Gene was kind of a win-win and a lose-lose. The mic moments with Bryce at the top would have been so funny, but I think Gene is more entertaining in the cage. Yeah. Gene has definitely got the more highlight reel potential moving forward, which is all you need. Always what you need at featherweight. Do you think Bryce has hit his ceiling? I think he needs to join a bigger gym to get better and quit the farm training camps. Well, he does. He is at a gym and he does train with Dan Ige and stuff like that. So he does get working with certain fighters, but maybe. I don't know though, man. Bryce has got different focuses, you know. I don't think he's a... He obviously wants to do well in his career, but he also has a whole farm that he needs to take care of at the same time, you know. I don't think you can just quit the farm because you've got life forms that require your, you know, you keeping them alive. I think Bryce let emotions get in the way. No, I don't. I think he got outdone. I think he just got outdone. But I'll tell you this, chat. I watched back the fight with tears in my eyes of Bryce Mitchell versus John Silver. And I tell you, dude, he went out for a second in the first guillotine. Yes or no in chat? He went out for a second in the first guillotine. And I think after that, he was in a little bit more of like a heart thumping like crazy, little bit panicky, like, holy shit, what the fuck just happened to me? He's back on the feet and his heart's thumping. And he got a little tired. And Gene started being able to push him around. I think he went out in the first guillotine and then kind of came back to... Yeah, he was gasping for air when he got out of it. I think so as well. Even though he was fine before that, on the feet, he was doing all right. He got hit with some shots, of course. But I do think he got put out for the guillotine. In the guillotine for a moment. And then maybe because he went out, he went a little limp and then the grip kind of shifted, you know? Sometimes when you're resisting the choke, you add to the pressure of it. But yeah. No, I don't think Gene could have finished him whenever he wanted, or he would have done. I think Gene was just being like, okay, let me just draw out a few of the takedown attempts so he doesn't get a good grip of me early when we're dry. You know what I mean? First round, Bryce did all right on the feet, but it's just he doesn't have the same, don't get hit by Bryce. You know, you're not going to fear that in a fight, so. I don't know, man. Bryce can do well, but he runs into an Ilia Topuria or a Gene Silver, and it's all of a sudden not so good. I mean, think about it like this. Bryce Mitchell has 3 pro losses. Josh Emmett on short notice, he got chinned by Josh Emmett, one of the hardest punchers in the division. Other than that, Ilia Topuria and Gene Silver are his losses. He hasn't lost other than that. So he's good, but he's not future GOAT. You know what I mean? That's what he's running into a lot of the time. By the looks of things with Gene Silver anyway. Volk versus Evloev. Of course, Volk versus Evloev next. Am I delusional in thinking Paddy legit has a really good chance with almost anyone at the top of lightweight you looked at? Listen, I think you're absolutely correct. Even my dad messaged me today and said, how good did Pimblett... Do you want to know what my dad's reaction to the Paddy Pimblett fight was, chat? I'll tell you what my dad's reaction to the Paddy Pimblett fight was. Thank you for the $2. What's with that last haircut you got? Oh, shut the fuck up, man. Fucking F word. Let me tell you what my dad's reaction was to the Paddy Pimblett fight. It's very geezerish of him, actually. I just read it again. When we need to stop talking, lad. Yeah. He said this. He said, bloody hell. Just watch the Pimblett Chandler fight. Paddy's on fire. Best I've seen him. Classic, dude. There you go. Little update for me there on a message. Bloody hell. Just watch the Pimblett Chandler fight. Paddy's on fire. Best I've seen him. Fair enough, lad. 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 If Paddy beats someone below the age of 35, I'll give it to him. I still think he stinks on ice, despite a sick ground game. Also, Ilya chins Charles in 1. So, Chandler gets out of the Oliveira rematch relatively unscathed, goes 5 rounds with him and nearly finishes him in the 5th round. Now Pimblett dominated him, he's washed. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Just a few months ago, Chandler went 5 rounds with Charles do Bronx. Into the 5th round, he did a good 5th round. He won the 5th round. Nearly finished Charles Oliveira. Came out of the fight somewhat unscathed, other than getting, wobbled a few times? Cracked a couple times and had to get the center again? Now he's washed because Pimblett fucking dominated him the whole fight. Come on, man. Here's why Pimblett does well, even though he doesn't look as good as some of the other fighters at lightweight. Every other lightweight, what do? They step straight into the pocket, man. That's why Chandler does well against him. Oliveira goes straight into the pocket. Straight into the pocket, trying to get a hold of you with a clinch shot or something. Gaethje goes straight into the pocket. Poirier goes straight into the pocket. Whereas, Pimblett stays at range. He's like a little karate stance at range, and he's kicking low at the leg at range, and very different, man. It's a very different style matchup. I'm not saying that this means that he now dominates the top guys, but, you know, I think Paddy's pretty good. And Chandler has no ability. He has no, he has his way of fighting, and if you know how to deal with it and can game plan against it, he's kind of useless. And that's what we saw in that fight. You know, he just sort of loads up and steps through to try and land on his opponent. If you're not there in front of him, he can't get to you as well. And that's what Pimblett kind of exposed with his game plan. Impression of Hapanes confronting Paddy after 3-14. Also, do you think Paddy can beat Poirier or Gaethje? Yes, I think he can. I think he can beat those guys because he's fucking massive. Is he not massive? Is Pimblett not fucking massive for the division? Maybe the unranked guys are just bigger than the ranked guys, but I thought Chandler was like a little dense ball of muscle for the division, but dude, Chandler looked like a fucking featherweight out there. Yeah, he's bigger than Colby. He is, man. Jean Jubronx Silver. Paddy versus Gaethje, thoughts? It'd be a banger. It would be, but again, I don't think so. I don't think this is what's going to happen next. Thank you for the $2. I just don't see those fights going down. I'd like it, but I think they do Pimblett versus Poirier. I think Gaethje versus Arman is a fight that they're going to do. I think Gaethje, chat, he doesn't, you know when he was turning down McGregor? When he was like on his way up in the first place? Because Gaethje's very title fight orientated. He will rather challenge a top 1 or 2 in the world than fight a Pimblett. Like, that's just going to be his mindset. He doesn't care that Pimblett's a big name. You know? He just doesn't care that he's a big name. Paddy more dominant in Islam. Beats Gaethje in 3 as well. Dustin and arguably Charles too. Also, Volk's top 3 all time now. He is. He's up there. Volk versus, I think he could be good. I think Pimblett can be really good. And Pimblett, if he doesn't blow up and actually commits, listen, he's got to the top of the lightweight division. What an English Chad Paddy Pimblett is. He's got to the top of the lightweight division whilst not really taking it that serious and getting fat in between fights. So if he just locks in for a bit and actually takes it serious, I reckon he can improve even more vastly, because he didn't even balloon up too much after this one either, after the last win over Bobby Green. So he looks like he's taking it serious. I insult MMA Central to bring back the intro, please. You want me to fucking terminate your channel, do you?